a quick PowerPoint. But I'm gonna show you first this because you guys are bloggers, media, so that you know that this is not your typical movie that was created for just a certain group of people. This movie was the fulfillment of our dream that we became mainstream. The story of the Filipinos, their heroism finally became mainstream. And that's why we got this interview in KTLA. Okay? So I'm going to show this to you guys. So hopefully all the audio and everything will work. So what?
Oh, there you go. That's exactly it.
This is so exciting. We have a live guest for entertainment segment, the Chief Executive Officer at Inspire Studios and producer of the film 1521, The Quest for Love and Freedom. We welcome Francis B. Laraho to KTLA and tell us about your film. How exciting.
Thank you. You guys are doing a great job. I was watching it back there, so I can imagine how you're doing your job, but you
Spoken like a true producer.
Well, 1521 is actually the first, the year that, to the Filipinos is 1521, to the Americans it's 1776.
Mm-hmm.
It's the year that we fought for our freedom. And it's also the same year that we defeated Spain and changed world history as a people group. That's, most people don't know that about our history. And, this movie is basically a movie about, our history, but more than that, it's a love story that, where, a local princess falls in love with the Spaniard translator of Magellan. By the way, Magellan is being played by the great Danny Trejo. And we had a great time in the Philippines.
We actually have a trailer, right? We can take a look at the trailer?
Yes.
Kapitan, killing them would change their minds.
This sounds like treason. Do you know what we do to traitors?
I only ask Kapitan because if they can come to the one true God, would that be enough?
No. They must listen to Spain. He does this or he dies.
We love Danny Trejo here at KTLA. He was supposed to be here, but the SAG-AFTRA strike is still going on. What was it like working with him?
It's amazing. He's a very humble guy. No complaints. I told him, hey, Danny, there's mosquitoes, there's mud, there's moisture. He said, no, everything's a part of the job, and I love it here. And in fact, he said, next time you make another movie, I want to be here. He's the greatest guy. The easiest, the humblest guy ever.
You're talking about the mosquitoes and all that was going on during filming. Did you actually film in the Philippines?
We filmed entirely in the Philippines, 99% Filipino crew. So the only Americans there were the cinematographer and some of the cast like Danny Trejo and others.
I love the name Inspire Studios. That caught my attention, and that's locally based, right?
Yeah, we're based in LA. The desires, we draw out stories from different people groups, cultural backgrounds that will inspire people to live greater and bigger lives. Not just exist for a purpose of existence, but to actually do something big in their lives.
Francis, we love the swag, we love the 1521 hat, and the tagline is The Quest for Love and Freedom. Would you say this is overwhelmingly a love story?
This is a very, very powerful love story, but at the same time, it's a movie for the entire family, for the parents, for the children. We purposely made it in such a way that children can watch it too, because we want generations of people, especially Filipino Americans who do not know their background, to actually see the movie and be proud of who they are. So this is actually a very historical film, because this is the first ever movie of a Filipino hero to be distributed in the United States in about 700 theaters this coming October 2nd.
That's right.
First time.
Will it be on? It'll probably be on demand eventually, right?
Eventually, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, congrats. It's awesome you got to do this. And thanks for coming on Q2LA with us. We're out of time. We've got to move on.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. It's an honor to be
Congratulations. Big
here.
weekend coming up, huh?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It feels so good to be interviewed by mainstream media in the United States, especially LA is the third largest, economic economy in the world. The economy of LA is a lot bigger than a lot of countries combined. And so, for a Filipino story, to be featured in KTLA is a big deal. And you know that you guys are in the press and the media. And you know how I get into that? And by the way, normally you pay $5,000 to $10,000. You know how much I paid for that? $0. And you know how I get to that? Filipino connection. Because one of the anchor women in KTLA is Filipino American. And as soon as she heard the story, she said, "Come, let us tell our story." And that's my challenge for you as we start tonight. I'd like for you that when you come out here, you come with a vision. And it's about time for us to tell our stories. I became involved with it. I started Inspire Studios for one reason: to inspire people with the great stories of the Filipino heroes, and our stories of hope. And a few years ago, I spoke with the Israeli ambassador. And according to the ambassador, he said, "Your people are great people, but no one's telling your stories." So we need to tell our stories. If we don't tell our stories, no one else will tell our story. Right? So, it started as a dream. My dream was to see, my brother is here. And when we were growing up in Dueñas, my grandfather, my father has a gas station, and outside the gas station there's a curb, like a pavement. My brothers and I, every afternoon, will sit there and we'll look at the skies, and jetliners will come. And I told my brothers, I don't know if he remembers, I told my brothers at that time, I said, one day I'll be riding monorails and I'll see the world. It's a small dream, it's a small vision, and it starts with that. All of us in the room have our own dream, have our own vision. And let me just encourage you tonight that never too late. Because this started as a small dream, and it became something big. One of the dreams I have is for Filipinos in America to come together and be united. Filipino Americans are so divided in America in terms of religion, politics, and economics. But in June 12th last year, and October 2nd last year, Filipino Americans from the first Filipino American billionaire philanthropist, she sat down on the same theater that a regular nurse sat down with them. Democrats, Republicans, they're all there, not talking about religion, politics, money. They only talk about one thing. They're proud of our Filipino heritage. And I hope that this movie will do the same thing here in the Philippines. That people will be proud of their heritage. So let me show you what happened in June 12th in the United States. This is the launching of our movie in the United States. This is the billionaire that I told you about. Her name is Loida Nicholas. She's the first Filipino-American billionaire. will see her comment. Filipinos dressed up in Filipiniana, and they lined up the streets of Hollywood, and it happened in Jacob. So I'm gonna share with you guys quickly a little background on the movie, and then go from there. Um, while I'm looking for the file, I started Inspire Studios in 2019. And I hope he doesn't mind me sharing the story. But Uncle Janky here was there right at the beginning. So, this is so funny. I had a vision. So, my wife and I retired back here. Quick background. My wife and I were missionaries. I graduated in CPU missionaries in Manila for 5 years and 4 years in China. After being a missionary in China, we went to the United States, finished my master's, started my PhD, and then in 27 became business people there. In 2017, came back here, retired in Palawan. And when I was in Palawan, it was exactly May. Like this coming Sunday is Memorial Day. Memorial Day in the United States is when we remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And so I was wondering, how can I teach my children about sacrifice and heroism? And there's a place in Palawan where the Americans were, during World War II, was burned alive. 150 of them burned alive, 139 died, 11 survived. And that story is so powerful, not because of the survival of the Americans, but because the Filipinos helped them survive. But no one is telling that story. So when I went home from that place to my house in Palawan, I said, someone has to tell these stories. And so when I went to the United States, started Inspire Studios. And I have 5 movies. This is the first one. It's the smallest one. Okay? But I won't tell you the budget tonight. A lot of people really wants to know the budget. Right? And the reason why I don't want to tell you the budget, because I want you to appreciate the film when you watch it, not have a preconceived notion, oh, this budget, it's like that, right? So I want you to see the merit of the movie, not based on preconceived ideas. Now, in a nutshell, 1521 is Romeo and Juliet, not Pocahontas. This is not Pocahontas' Filipino version. That's what the backlash is online. For people who saw the trailer, they haven't even watched the movie, right? So this is Romeo and Juliet meets Braveheart. Braveheart fighting for their freedom. Okay, so it has 2 aspects. It's not a historical documentary. It's a historical drama, action, romance. So the battle is historical, but the love story is fictional. Okay? So Ferdinand Magellan is played by Danny Trejo. He's famous for Machete, Heat, Con Air, Predators, Dusk Till Dawn, American Underdog, American Sicario, but he's also famous amongst the kids. So when we flew from LA to Palawan, he flew with me because that's his main concern, his safety. I was so surprised in Manila, the kids look at him and say, Spy Kids! And then the father would say, Machete! Right? Every generation of Filipinos know him. Okay? So, Bea Alonso is the lead actress here. She's playing a babaylan, and her name is Diwata. Okay? And her track record is this, and this is the reason why she is my only choice for this role. We never offered this to anyone else. Track record right there. Okay? Worldwide. Now, Costas is the main villain. So Magellan is not the main villain in the movie. Costas is. Okay? He's Lorenzo. He's famous for these movies if you guys watch those. Okay? But only the guys watch those. Right? Our first director, because we have a second director. So it's the first director, and the guy who played Lapu-Lapu, he used to be famous for One Tree Hill, Power Rangers, Scorpion King 2. This was before The Rock came into the Scorpion King. Okay? Now, the love interest of Bea Duwata is also a Power Ranger. He's Puerto Rican American, and he is famous for those movies. Percy Jackson, Power Rangers. Lapu-Lapu is the blue Power Ranger. He is the green Power Ranger. Okay? These are some awards that we've got so far. For a first-time film, it's pretty much, impressive, I would say. I myself actually was surprised. I wasn't expecting. But we won Best Cinematography Feature Film in Sweden Film Awards, London Independent Film Awards, Best Feature in Athens. Right? Now, I mentioned that not to brag about me, but to brag about the team. because this is really a testament to what a Filipino can do. You know, all our actors or actresses, obviously including Bea Alonso. And this was alluded to earlier, 650 theaters last October too. The most interesting here is that in October 2, 2023, when the movie was shown in Hawaii, the mayor of Hawaii declared that day 1521 Day. That's the honor. I'm still waiting for Lapu-Lapu City to declare the 1521 Day there. Maybe when we go, on May 30, maybe, right? But guys, why is it significant? Can anyone tell me? If you tell me, you'll get a free premiere ticket. Why is that significant? What happens in Honolulu? You cannot. Because you asked me, you interviewed me, so you know the answer. You know how many world history happens in Hawaii, in Honolulu? Famous is Pearl Harbor. So now imagine this. Our little Filipino story is now part of the historical annals of that city, together with Pearl Harbor and everything that happened in Hawaii. That's pretty significant, right? Something to be proud of. So, a lot of non-Filipinos have praised, recognized what we have done in America. And this is the rating in Rotten Tomatoes. Some, it said like here, movie was epic. This one, I love this one because she said, first time I've ever seen a movie in theaters where the audience started clapping at the end of the show. Maybe she doesn't watch a movie. And then this, I definitely recommend seeing this whether you are looking for a sweet love story or a history lesson. It flowed really good, they said. So, it's coming in Iloilo and around the Philippines, June 5. And we'll see if my plan is to have a red carpet event here on June 5. We'll see how the Ilonggos will step up. Palawan, man, the Palawan sold out. Right? June 6th, our red carpet there is sold out. In less than 24 hours. Right? That's how much the Palawan you're supporting it. Because 100% of this was filmed in Palawan. Okay? So hopefully the Ilonggos will stand up and be a part of the people who will really make this happen for us. Okay, so
they will make it happen.
They will make it happen. There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Seriously, so okay, so I've given you, a little bit of background, what happened in America, and I know there's a big elephant in the room, so let's deal with the big elephant in the room, right? Who is the courageous one to raise the big elephant in the room? Oh, you guys don't have an idea? I don't think so. You know. Okay. You guys can ask the question. Do you have a microphone? Sige. You guys can start. Whoever wants to start, ask the question. Your name, please, and what do you represent?
I'm Kathy with Iloilo Updates.
Iloilo
Updates.
Iloilo Update, okay.
What were the challenges that you faced when making the movie?
The challenges is when you are a producer, you're like a CEO of a company. You hire everyone and you fire everyone. That you don't like. So the challenges is, this is my first movie and I don't have a background in filmmaking. I'm just a crazy, courageous businessman that had a vision. And it's okay to be crazy. Crazy people rule the world. Yeah, Uncle Felix? Yeah. Uncle Felix is crazy one too, right? Look at all the projects he has. But I don't have because of that, because of my limited understanding, limited experience, uh, I made some calls that, cause some of the problems during the production, right? So, for example, classic example is I hired people who, in hindsight, I would have hired people who have more experience than me. But it seems like some of the people I hired also kind of like have a similar experience than me. They were recommended to me, so I just felt like, okay, they were recommended to me, so I trust the guy who recommended it, and also the guy that was recommended. And because of my lack of experience and understanding, I hired some people who somehow was not able to deliver. For example, our air content was late. Like few days after, I usually have to buy a generator 1 million pesos because the air content was late. But then that caused some problems already. That's one of the reasons why you saw some complaints online. Right? That's one of the reasons raised. But I take responsibility for that. I don't have, I have a limited knowledge and experience, so I take responsibility. So yeah, that's one of the challenges. It's hard to fire people. Hiring is easy, firing is harder. So that's one of the challenges. The other one is also the lack of, when we film in Palawan, there are some resources that are not available that, some of the actors and actresses are used to. And so that created tension also. But I heard there's no production that's perfect. There's always going to be issues like that. And so, so those are some of the things. The bullfrog was very hard. It was their mating season. And so when we were filming the dance, man, the bullfrog is a lot louder than the actors and the actresses. So we have to redo a lot of the audio. So sometimes some major challenges. Yeah, those are some of the challenges that I faced. Basically because of my limited understanding and experience. Yes, Miss.
Good evening, I am Runjia Molo, Radio Pilipinas.
Radio Pilipinas.
What's gonna happen on June 5, 2024? Where will this be shown, and how much can the Ilonggos film ticket? And then, why should you think Ilonggo should see this movie?
Okay. I like that question. Well, June 5, nationwide, this will be shown all over the Philippines. In all the theaters that are willing to accept it. We will know. Viva has reached out to about 100 theaters. It all depends on the theater if they want to accept it or not. But the Robinsons Palawan already called me 2 days ago. They said, "Sir, we're gonna put your movie on already." And so SM today they checked. Oh, we saw it already in the lineup, but we don't have a date. I said it's June 5. Okay. So why should Ilonggos watch this? Well, why not? It was produced by Ilonggos, not just me, but Uncle Janky, right? And you have quite a bit of Ilonggos in there for extras, like my high school classmate, Mr. Rigolio here. He was one of the Spanish soldiers, right? And Mimi there, she's one of the princess of Mactan. We have to make her look like non-Chinese. All right? So she was, but this is a showcase of, talent of Ilonggos. But beyond being Ilonggo, because this is a story about us. This is us Filipinos. This is our story that the world doesn't know. And, this story changed world history. Can someone guess how that happened? Anyone wants to guess? What happened because Magellan was killed by Lapu-Lapu and his men? What happened to our history? The colonization of the Philippines was delayed for 40 to 50 years. You know, the Spaniards just to change their strategy after that defeat in Mactan. They no longer want to hit us head on. Now they became friendly and started to pit us against each other. And here's one of the other reasons why you want to watch it. If you go to Amazon Prime today, there is a series called Boundless. It was created by a foreign Western company. Boundless is the story of Magellan and Elcano. One of the episodes there is the Battle of Mactan. And guess who's the hero of the Battle of Mactan from the perspective of the Westerners? Magellan. And you know how he's portrayed there? He said Magellan was trying to stop Lapu-Lapu from killing Humabon, therefore he got in the middle of the battle and he died. He was the sacrifice peace offering lamb. And you know how Lapu-Lapu is portrayed there? He's a savage rapist who kills people for fun. So, should we just let that narrative go? Can you imagine you go to the Philippine National Police, their logo, their emblem is who? And he's a rapist. See, a lot of us don't know that. But outside, you know how many hits I took, not just from Filipinos, but even from Westerners. I was accused of being a historical revisionist. I'm revising history. If you and I don't change the narrative, forever our stories will be distorted. Your pen, your screens, the power of your writing can change this country's image if we use it properly. If we don't respond, if we don't step up, then nothing will happen. That's why Ilonggos should go watch it. Not just because it was by an Ilonggo, but because it's for our nation. And by the way, the first 3 days is crucial. If June 5, June 6, June 7, you have a big box office sales, you will stay longer in the theaters. But if you guys wait, okay, we'll just watch it on Netflix when it comes out on Netflix, so no one watches it on 5, 6, 7. It may not go on Netflix, by the way. Because normally, they look at your performance in the box office. So if you want our stories to go up, you want to support this one. Now, women. How many women do we have in the room? Or how many wannabe women in the room? Just kidding. Okay. Here, this is a story of women empowerment. You know, during the pre-colonial period, women were equal footing with men in the Philippines. But when the Spaniards came, they changed that culture. The babaylan becomes a witchcraft as opposed to a seer, a sage, an advisor. So this movie is a movie about women empowerment. Do women like that? Will you watch it because of that? Yes? Now, lastly, you watch this movie, I can guarantee you one thing. It is not Avatar, but you'll be so proud you're a Filipino after you watch this movie. So this movie is for all ages, from grandfather, father, son, grandson. It's for everyone. No foul language, no excessive violence. Actually, we did not put blood in it at all. Because we want, so this is PG. We did PG by MTRC. So kids can watch it too. And lastly, if you want to fall in love again, you want to watch this movie. because it's a classic Romeo and Juliet story. All right. Very good. Thank you for that question. Sir?
Sir, good evening. Nonoy Obililo today. Since it's a historical romance, how did you balance the historical accuracy of the film with the creative storytelling? What did you do to...
So, as I mentioned earlier, the love story is fictional. That's where we put a lot of our creative licenses. We can be more creative on that. But when it comes to Lapu-Lapu and Magellan, we did not distort that story. We want to make sure that that is preserved the way we know it in our history. And our production team consulted primary sources. For example, Pigapeta's own writing, okay, and plus several books from Filipino scholars. And we also, our production team also went to the National Historical Commission just to seek out, some of, the historical events and details. But again, this is not a historical documentary. So, while Babaylan is, Dewata is fictional, but being a Babaylan is true during that time. Okay? She falls in love with a Spanish soldier, that's fiction. Right? By the way, Enrique in the real history is not Spanish. It's actually a Malay from Malacca. So that's where we did a little bit of creative license. Okay?
Hello, sir. I'm Mike from Panay News. In terms, sir, of cultural representation, how did you approach the representation of different cultures and perspectives in the movie, especially in historical context?
The cultural representation there is basically, by the way, the writer is also half from Central America, okay? And she's female. So the culture of a woman, culture of being a Latina is there too. So that we made sure. Now, for the Filipinos, obviously, that's, I myself is very, I did a thorough research on my part. And so when the script was being written, I was really, collaborating with her a lot from the perspective. And then we actually had some readers from the Philippines read the script and made some notes and comments. So that's how we ensured the cultural representation. By hiring a woman for a woman-driven story, and then a minority as well because she's half Latina. But then we also hired, Filipino readers and consultants to read the script and give comments. And I'm a Visayan too. I'm from the Visayan region. So. Sino ba yun, sir? Wait. Sige, sir.
Well, looking at the success of...
Where are you, sir?
John Ray Aguilo, sir, from the Lone Singer, Iloilo Vlogger Society.
Okay.
Looking at the success of 1521, are you also looking into producing other historical films that is Ilonggo based? Like, we have a couple of Ilonggo heroes here as well.
Yes, in fact, the first movie I wanted to do is entitled Freedom Fighters. It's actually the story of, inspired by a group by General Peralta. Although he's not Ilonggo, he's actually Ilocano, but he's a hero here during World War II. And that also is inspired by the story of the American missionaries who started CPU. So that was my first project. It's a much bigger project, and that project has a very interesting twist. Because in that project, I also honored my Chinese grandfather. There's a group of Chinese fighters during World War II. They have their own unit. They fought against the Japanese in the Philippines. And so that story will touch a little bit of that. And also my uncle who died during World War II, my mother's half-brother. An Angel Warrior is the current title, and the writer of that is the writer of the Band of Brothers. Yeah, only you guys know that series. Girls have no idea what Band of Brothers, you know. But he's an A-list writer, and he wrote the episode in Band of Brothers that won the Emmys. So when Spielberg and Tom Hanks decided to make World War II movie of the Pacific and of Europe, he was the guy who wrote it. And he wrote our script. So he's an A-list writer. And our creative consultant there, his name is Aaron Snyder. Aaron Snyder is an Oscar award-winning director. The story of how I get him is so powerful. You know, in my phone, I have this mobile phone. I can text him, I can call him anytime for consultation, and he sends me 0 invoice. That's how committed he is to tell our story. Because he told me how he started. Someone also paid it forward to him. Billy Crystal encouraged him to go to Hollywood. And when he got his first Oscars, guess who handed his Oscars? Billy Crystal. But Billy Crystal does not remember him anymore. So I told Aaron, you know, you, Hanks, Spielberg, and many guys are atop the pyramid. Newcomers, minorities, newbies, bottom of the pyramid. Unless you guys at top reach down, we cannot go up. He thought that was a brilliant analogy. He said, Francis, I'm going to help you. And that's why we were able to get an A-list writer. That's a much bigger movie. In fact, we're going to shoot some of the scenes in the Lopez Mansion. I already asked permission. You know, Lopez Mansion was the Japanese headquarters. And so is Angelica. So a few years back, I spoke with the Lopez's when ABS-CBN is still great. They said, anytime you need that mansion, let us know. And so when I drive by Nelly's mansion, I can already picture the movie.
Nelly's Garden.
Nelly's Garden. I can already picture, you know, that here's a vision. A Japanese guy and a Filipino woman will be dancing on the lawn with samurai deya in their hands. The Japanese officer teaching her how to use the samurai like a dance. And then another scene in that is there will be a scene of Japanese soldiers occupying the entire lawn. You know how long that lawn is? And then the commander will be on top of the mansion. Is that exciting or what? Right?
You can apply for extra.
We need volunteers. We need extras. If you're a man and you're ready for your head to be cut off by the samurai, you're welcome.
We look Japanese.
For women, we're looking for women who wants to volunteer to be raped by the Japanese. Just kidding. Now, my third movie is called Palawan. I mentioned about that. You know, and the writer of that is the same guy who wrote Forbidden Kingdom, Crouching Tiger. Right? He wrote Marco Polo, $200 million Netflix series. The same writer. Right? So those are big ones. The fourth one is called Open Doors, the story of how the Philippines helped the Jewish people. Okay? And the fifth one is called The Rescue, about the Americans abducted from Palawan and taken to Basilan. No, we have that already. So I have 3 screenplays ready to go. So, Ate, Manaw, if you help this succeed, like what John F. Kennedy said, rising tide lifts all boats. The success of 1521 will lift up all Filipinos. It will make our story great. And those projects that are coming, more likely than not, it will be hastened. with the success of this. So you guys play a big role in making sure that this goes out. Because the challenge is not about will Filipinos love it, the challenge is will they hear about it. And that's why you guys are here. Thank you for your questions. Name and outfit platform.
Hello. No. That's my question.
Yes, do you have?
So, good evening, sir. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate you for making it to Hollywood. So, my name is Zach Goles of Trendy.ph. So, my question is, what was the most memorable scene or the most challenging scene to film and why?
The most memorable scene is actually the favorite of the billionaire. It's the first mass on Limasawa. That's where Bea will shine. You wait for that scene. She said nothing in that scene. There's no words. She was just acting, and rains of emotions will just come out. Kaya sabi ng billionaire, sabi niya, so it's so funny because I wasn't expecting her to be there. Because 4 years ago, I was trying to contact her via Cesar Montano because they're friends. I never got a call back from her. One day, June 10th, she calls me. And she said, this is Miss Lewis. Can I watch your movie? I said, Tita Loida, you don't know how long I've been hunting you. 4 years. Of course, you can bring the entire barangay. So she brought her people. And so, you see her at the start. But in the end, she's like, became my mother. She pulled me aside. She said, Francis, it's a genius how you portray the Limasawa first mass. It's a genius. That's why she said it's a historical masterpiece. So that's the most meaningful one for me. The most difficult one for Danny Trejo is when he would fall down several times on the sand to reshoot the scene of when Magellan died. Because he was wearing armors and they're heavy, and he can tell you that it's armor. It was very hard. So that was very difficult for him. And very difficult for us too because we don't know if he will have a heart attack or something, because it's too hot and he's wearing the armor. But we have doctors on the scenes. It's good. Sige, sino pa?
Magellan is Portuguese, not Spanish, right?
That's right. He's a Portuguese explorer under the flag of Spain. Rex, ikaw. Ang tanong mo, Rex. Sige na. Bawi ka na.
Tumatahimik na nga lang ako kasi natanong ko na lahat. But anyway, I'm Rioch, freelance blogger. Sir, we have talked earlier about the problems and the struggles. Although I've asked it before sa vlog, but I'd just like to ask it again. Because most Filipinos would focus on the struggles and not on how you overcome them. And you have mentioned also before that this is a kind of thing that would inspire people. So the question is, as a beginner in the film industry, what can you suggest or advise Filipinos, especially the young generation, how to overcome the struggles that they are facing?
That question can be easily answered by Mr. Joe, who's I'm learning a lot from him. Your dream has to be bigger than your struggles. If you have a bigger dream that includes everyone, no amount of struggle will stop you. Secondly, you have to believe in a higher power beyond yourself. You got to believe, for me and my wife, filmmaking, all these projects is all about what God has called us to do. And when you're with that, no amount of challenges will stop you. And so if you're a beginning filmmaker, I just want to encourage you to have bigger dreams and to be connected to the higher power. Get a mentor, learn from someone. Like I learned from a lot of consultants, and pursue, believe that your dream, that your calling, is only you who can do it and no one else. That's special for you. God created it for you. So you never quit, you never stop. You just keep improving. And I'm sure many of you in the room, you have dreams of becoming, top blogger or top reporter. I know you have those dreams. Right? Where you are right now, just keep growing, keep improving. Because I have no background. And it's the first movie. And by the way, we are distributed by a big company in the United States. Distributed in Canada and the United States. And we have received several offers already to promote, to show this in the other parts of the world. In fact, I just received another text message. They're reminding me if I have a feedback on their offer. But when I was starting, I had no money. Uncle, my Nino had money. I just told him. I told him, Nino, I have this vision, I have this dream. He said, I have one question for you. Do you really believe in this? Do you really believe this is what God wants you to do? I said, I believe in this so much, I'm even giving you the title of my land as a guarantee to the money that you'll be investing. And you know what he said? I don't need that. I just need your bank account. To send his investment. And he knows I have no background from it. But you will have people like that in your life. Who will one day, they'll believe in you. And you will fly. You will fly high. Because people will believe you. But first, you have to believe that this is your destiny. And by the way, I'll digress a little bit. I'll be preaching at Baptist Center this Sunday. And the title of my message is Becoming a Man or a Woman of Destiny. Right? You're all invited. Okay? You're all invited. 9:30 in the morning. Okay? But that, Reg, is my encouragement. You gotta believe in a bigger dream, believe in a bigger God, and have a bigger belief in yourself. And when you have those three, God will send your angel. People who will believe in you. And by the way, there will always be dream killers. There will always be people saying, no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't imagine how much the war that I have to put up with all these things. But I kept on. Because I believe this is my destiny.
Your relative has done.
That's my sister.
Oh, she's watching right now.
Okay. Alright. Sige, sino pa? Sino pa may pamangkot?
How long is the movie?
Movie is 1 hour and a half with a total of about maybe about 4 hours of footage. We shrunk it into 1 hour and a half. It took us more than a year of post-production. Right? But it's a constant emotional, you'll be locked in. But don't go there and eat a huge dinner beforehand. Because you're not paying attention to the conversation because you're too sleepy, right? All the blood will be flowing. I'm a nurse by training, so from your brain to your tummy, and then you're gonna sleep on a movie. So don't eat a big meal, okay, when you go there. Okay? Sino ba yung nagtanong? Sir, ka?
Anong collaboration niyo sa Viva Films?
Viva Films is the distributor. Yeah, so they are distributing all over the Philippines, and they would like to distribute. They've actually sent me an offer to distribute it in the Middle East and Southeast Asia as well.
How many movie houses will be showing this?
They they started about 100. So hopefully more. Again, it all depends on the hype that you guys build. What you write. Okay. Because otherwise, I gotta go to the bank and borrow. Listen, in your marketing budget is the same as your production budget. So if you spend several millions on this, your marketing should be the same. So that's why we invest in, close relationships like this, as opposed to just putting up billboards and those things. Okay. So, yeah. Sir?
So I trademark of randomly candid and in university. Just to cap this question, I'm not capping it by the way, but for everyone's sake and for the content of everyone, can you invite our Ilonggo viewers to watch 1521?
Okay. Ready nyo na inyong movie na anong kamera.
Should I Ilonggo? Ilonggo? Sa tanan ko nga kasi manwa dari sa Iloilo, mga abyan, mga pamilya, akong git nga ginapangayo ang inyong mapulik, inyong suporta sa ato nga pelikula. Nga ini nga pelikula ang pinakauna nga pelikula about hero sa aton nga bansa nga nagwa sa bilog ng kalibutan. 650 theaters sa Amerika and many other places in the world in the following weeks and months. Ang inyong suporta very important. Kaya kung wala sang suporta, this will not go far. Importante kit nga magsuporta ang aton nga mga fellow Ilonggos. Because this is the story of us all. This is not the story of one person. This is not the story of, a group of people. It's the story of our entire nation. If we want our stories, ang aton nga istorya, na magwa sa bilog ng kalibutan to touch and transform a lot of hearts, kinahanglan tagit ang suporta sa kada isa. Because together we can do more. By myself, I'm not asking for a lot sa inyo tanan. Ang among pamilya invested a lot of money on this movie. Because it's our gift to our motherland. Can you reciprocate it by just supporting it for our motherland? Whatever happens, this is for the national pride of the Philippines. We need our stories to go out and become mainstream. Patabo lang na kung kita mismo mga Ilonggo will go out June 5 sa aton nga theaters. Kung may ara akong barkada sa ibang lugar, sa Bilugang Pilipinas, let them know. Please go out. Make this as a special event, a family event. Nag-succeed ini sa Amerika, kaya ang mga Pilipino, ginimo nila yun ng party. Nagtanaw sila pelikula, after pagtanaw, kanto sila sa isang restaurant and they talk about their heritage. Di amo man ang pwede na mahimo. Go out, watch the movie, diretso sa Tatoys, sa Lapas Batsoy, by the way, wala sila pakabayad commercial sa akin. But I'm helping them now. Make it a family event, a barkada event. It will be so much fun, and you'll be so proud. First, you're Ilonggo, made by Ilonggo, a production by Ilonggo. Second, which is the highest level of pride, that you are a Filipino. Angat ang Pilipino. So thank you. Good.
Sir, last question na lang.
Okay, sir.
We'll be posting tonight, maybe within this week. Where kami pwede makakuha some posters nga digital copy para ma-post naman on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms?
I think
YouTube.
Yeah. When you go to 1521movie.com, daang mga but if you don't find it, you can always reach out to me. Like, you can find me on Facebook. And then I can send it to you.
Francis Lalo.
Yeah, my Facebook. Pakita ko
na lang.
Para, and then you can reach out to me there. And then, yeah, that's it. So that's my Facebook there. You can message me there. And just tell me exactly what you need, and I can probably send it to you. For the trailer, ang gina-encourage kita ni namo. Okay, if you go to this one, ako na yung Facebook page nato. So, oh, I see. I have to close that.
Ano sa bukid siya? With D4. I think if you will post it this week, you should post it at least 3 days before the movie. Bamong iban malipat na sila. Magmatamunan na.
So,
June 5, Wednesday.
June 5 is a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Amo na ang pag-change sa ang pag-change sa